Welcome back.
Hey, Stanley.
Yeah, George?
How'd you like your own TV show?
Hey, I got something to mail you out.
Oh, you be careful now, you hear? Before you go and say something you're gonna regret for the rest of your days.
Like what? Like the wrong kid died?
Oh, no!
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Wrong Podcast Died. I'm Brian.
And I'm Rod.
And for this episode, we're dealing with March Madness still, and we're talking about the 1989 road buddy asylum movie, The Dream Team.
Crazy shit.
Have you ever seen this?
I had seen this when I was a kid, and revisiting it, I was like, what was I thinking here? We'll give it a rundown here. It's starring Michael Keaton as Billy Caulfield, Christopher Lloyd as Henry Sikorsky, Peter Boyle as Jack McDermott, Stephen First as Albert, and directed by Howard Zieff, who really, this was like his big thing until after this, he did My Girl and My Girl 2.
His face hurts. And where is his glasses? He can't see without his glasses. Put his glasses on. Put on his glasses.
Great cast. Reminded me a lot of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, though.
It gets a lot of comparisons to that.
I'll read the synopsis quick before we get too far. 4 patients from a New Jersey psychiatric hospital are taken on a field trip to a baseball game in New York City by their therapist. When their doctor is knocked unconscious by corrupt cops after witnessing a murder, the 4 men, each with a distinct mental health struggle, become separated and must navigate the chaotic streets of Manhattan to save their doctor and themselves.
Yeah, I just don't understand how this had to be an hour and 53 minutes.
I don't either. It was super long, but it didn't seem drawn out, weirdly. And it's not until you get towards the end where you get even a little bit of each person's story, right?
Right.
So Michael Keaton, I think, is just mean, has anger issues.
Yeah.
They never really say what his issue is. He's arrested a lot.
It's great to be young and insane.
Christopher Lloyd thinks he's a doctor.
Dosage increase. I'm going to say 25 milligrams amitriptyline.
25 milligrams won't make a dent in Gomez. I go 50. He cried during Family Feud last night. I could barely hear the questions.
Which he was, but something happened, and they don't explain what happened, though.
Is it Peter Boyle is the one that thinks he's
Jesus Christ?
Jesus Christ.
That is a serious infraction of hospital rules.
This is the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. And a damn fine Beaujolais.
And he's naked all the time. And then Albert doesn't talk unless he's singing to baseball or repeating what's...
Yeah, repeats whatever he hears on radio or TV.
Holy cow, White, what a great day for a game.
Holy cow, White, what a great day for a game.
Yeah, but it's all baseball related, so that goes back to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, there's a lot of comparisons. Michael Keaton's character compared to Jack Nicholson, it was weird. It's funny that we picked those two movies. I had no clue that there was comparisons to them. Yeah, if you go on IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and yeah, that's what people keep saying is like, yeah, it was like this with R.P. McMurphy. And, you know, it's just, what the fuck, man? How did we do this again?
And Christopher Lloyd's in both movies.
Yeah.
You think that crossed his mind when he did this? This is more of a buddy movie, though, right?
Very much so, yeah.
Even though they're not friends through most of the film, they kind of despise each other.
Yeah, they have to come together. I mean, especially when they find out that the doc's being targeted by these cops.
Yeah, and the doctor was... What's he from? I know he's from other things, but I just can't put my finger on it.
So he actually looks a lot like Michael Douglas to me, but he was in Batteries Not Included.
That's where I know him from.
Yeah, that's probably about the only thing that you might know him from. I'm looking through his list here, and he really, not a lot, but yeah, he's one of those guys who does a lot of like one-time appearances on TV shows and stuff, I believe.
Yeah, we saw Batteries Not Included at a special screening here in my hometown. We used to have a theater at the mall, which most malls probably used to have theaters, some still do. But they did a special screening where it was free, open to the public, so my mom took me and my sister to see Batteries Not Included. And that's one of those films that wasn't streaming anywhere, that I found a copy of physical media, I think a DVD. It took me forever to find it, and now I've found like 8 copies of it. I didn't
Oh,
buy all
wow.
8 copies, but
Yeah.
it's one of those movies that's not streaming and kind of hard to find on physical media. So I grabbed a copy of that, definitely.
And this also featured a very young Lorraine Bracco, who she was in Goodfellas. She was the wife in that. She's been in a lot of stuff. Plus, The Sopranos was her big thing.
Yeah, so the doctor wants to take these 4. They're in a group together. He wants to take them to a Yankees game in New York City. So he talks the administration into letting him take them out on a field trip to a Yankees game. They get $10 each.
Pocket money. You each get $10 for some hot dogs at the stadium.
Yeah. Alcohol for the unstable. I love it.
No beer, Bill, just sodas. Okay.
So he takes them in the van. One of them has to urinate.
Albert's gotta go. Albert's gotta go.
Oh, Christ, he's gonna piss all over the back seat, Doc. We're gonna need a canoe to float out of here.
We drank a whole can of Hawaiian punch before we left.
So they pull up to a gas station. The guy speaks Spanish, but he's not really Spanish. The bathroom's broken. He has to take Albert down the alleyway, and he witnesses a murder. These 2 crooked cops kill another police officer. Then they knock him out and leave him for dead. Well, they don't have their doctor, so they kind of go their separate ways. The doctor gets taken to the hospital. So the rest of the movie is them trying to save the doctor from the corrupt cops.
Yeah, at first trying to find the doctor, and then once they figure it out, then they're trying to save him. But it's just hijinks throughout the whole damn thing.
I mean, the one guy that thinks he's Jesus goes into a church.
We got the Lord on the line. Who is gonna take the call? Please don't leave God on hold. You have called and I have answered.
He's getting naked on the stage. Then he ends up at his old work.
Yeah, he was like an advertiser for a big corporation, and he goes in like it's nothing, and then one of the guys like turns him in. So they just all kind of get turned in.
Yeah, Albert gets caught running out of.
Well, he went back to get his hat, and then as he was coming, the cops tackled him, and then Billy,
tackles the cops, so they catch Billy because Billy finds his ex-girlfriend, and she's dating a guy that lives in Manhattan, probably on the Upper East Side, and
well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Has money, and then he ends up calling the cops because he sees them on TV, because the cops are trying to frame him for this murder and for attacking the doctor. It's just like you said, a comedy of errors. It's just they go into is it a uniform shop or like it's an old
like surplus store or something?
Yeah,
like
which
that.
is not a thing anymore. There used to be every small town in America had a surplus store at one point. I could tell you exactly where the one is or was that was in my hometown.
Yeah, you used to be able to get army fatigues and all kinds of old military supplies,
Knives and guns and bayonets and landmines and grenades.
Yeah. Well, depending on which one you go to, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe not all, but some of them had back rooms and stuff where you could get that kind of stuff, but not anymore. You have to, I don't even know, go on the black web maybe to get that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that this is 1989, April. It wasn't too much longer that Michael Keaton would be doing Batman next.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Which had Jack Nicholson in that with him. And, it's just so much connections between the 2 movies.
So this movie was released just 2 months before Tim Burton's Batman. Yeah, and that was one of the other fun facts I had. Critics at the time praised the chemistry of the 4 leads, but noted the film's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest light approach to mental health.
And it did fairly well in the theater for a while there.
Yeah.
It had a budget of $15 million and then gross worldwide $28.9 million. So, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it pretty much doubled its money. Probably on the sheer Christopher Lloyd, Michael Keaton, the cast alone probably. But I had fun with it. Like I said, a little too long.
Yeah.
But it's like a lighthearted. I did laugh out loud a couple times. Is it One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Not at all. But still fun and more kid-friendly?
Yeah, PG-13. I mean, there are a little bit of swearing, and violence, but nothing bloody.
You don't see the guy get shot. I mean, you do, but you don't see...
but you don't see any aftermath of it, or anything like that. So
yeah, you don't really see the doctor laying there bleeding all over the place. They got like his head wrapped up. Yeah, so It's fun. I thought it was fun. Like you said, it's a little too long,
Yep.
which is weird because it didn't feel that long.
No, I just think the beginning drags too much.
Like in the facility.
Yeah, in the facility before they leave for the game, it just drags on, and then a little bit in the middle too, with them running around.
Yeah, and with the doctors arguing about can they go, should they go, if they can't go. One of my favorite lines is when the doctor finds out they can go to the game, they can go on their field trip. He goes to Jack McDermott.
Doc seats on the right field line. Will the atheists be there? We're all going to be there. All the faiths will be represented.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what is going? You couldn't get away with jokes like that nowadays. I mean, Scary Movie 6 is getting ready to drop at the time of this recording, or it's, within a month or two, and people are getting upset about the jokes in that film.
And go watch Scary Movie 1,
Yeah. And this is 1989, so this is right before the 90s. And the other weird thing is this was right after or right before another film that we covered on the podcast.
Yeah, Say Anything actually came out the week after this one.
Okay, so we're right in the wheelhouse. Probably going to be a lot of the same stuff. The only other trivia I had was the Burbs connection is what it says. The film was produced by Image Entertainment as part of a 2-picture deal with Universal. The other film in that deal is a cult classic, The Burbs. I don't know that makes a good double feature, but yeah, The Burbs and this would be
crazy,
kind of fun together.
One other thing, the way they tried to make a little bit more money in Europe was they didn't release this right away. They waited until Batman was already out and then put this out. Hey, we got Batman in this movie too.
I wouldn't say totally different character though.
No, not really.
He's kind of the same character, right?
He's got an identity crisis.
He hates plants. He's always trying to kick plants over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like the end too, where they all dress up as the doctors and they take the other doctors to the insane asylum.
Making a mistake. This is Dr. I am a doctor. I am Dr. Palmer. You don't understand.
Paranoid delusion. A couple of them actually think they're doctors. Tragic.
Go easy on them. They've been through a lot.
I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. It is not One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No. What do you got for physical media?
Physical media, a VHS on October 5th, 1989 from MCA Home Video. There was a laser disc, October 5th, 1989 from MCA Home Video, and then a DVD, July 1st, 2023 from Universal Studios, and a Blu-ray dropped August 16th, 2016 from Universal Pictures. This is not streaming anywhere for free right now.
Nope.
You watched it on...
No, I actually bought a copy a few weeks back.
You bought the Blu-ray copy of it?
Yep.
I, in my internet sleuthing, found a really good copy online that I could watch, and I think you could buy it on Prime.
So you can rent this for $4 on Prime and Fandango, or pay like $15 to own it on either one. Still, I don't understand how a movie this old, you have to pay that much to see it. It's not like on their $5 list or anything like that. It should be, you would think.
To buy for $5, you mean?
Yeah, for a digital copy, but...
I mean, your best bet, as far as I'm concerned, is to check your local movie stores.
Yeah, find a used copy.
Yeah, find a copy on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray even, and you could probably grab it for less than what you would pay to rent it or own it on streaming. What do you think? Are we got recommendations first, or are we going to rate it first?
Let's do our ratings first, and then we'll do a little this or that.
I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5 Yankee Stadium dogs. I could go for a Yankee Stadium dog right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little mustard on it. Yeah. Nice cold beer. They couldn't drink, but I could.
I bet you'd be spending a lot more than $10.
Oh, hell. For for the fucking beer, probably.
You'd probably be able to get a bun for that much, but
no, probably not even a bun. Probably wouldn't even get to step onto anywhere at Yankee Stadium for $10.
No, not anymore.
No. What about you?
I did not like this as much as you. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Albert's about to piss his pants because...
Dang, that's bad.
Yeah, it's just, I had some weird nostalgia and it did not hold up for me whatsoever. for.
No, we got to quit covering movies that you have weird nostalgia from, because this is the second one that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Because you did not like the wrestling movie that you had a weird nostalgia for
Oh,
as a
yeah, the
kid.
body slam, yeah.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have to steer away from these. Although I like when I enjoy something more than you, because you made me watch that Jesus Christ Vampire fucking movie. And I don't know what you rate that, but if that's above a 2.5, that movie is way worse than this one.
Oh, it's a Bullet Train 3.5.
I'm not sure what that means, but we're gonna do some recommendations now. And number one from 1989, The Burbs. Suburban neighbors suspect a new family on the block is a group of murderous cultists.
Opek. What is that, Slavic?
No. Oh, about a 9 on the tension scale, Rube.
And we have this issue on Spooky when I bring up recommendations. I'm just putting films that may be like this, but also films that you will like. They don't always have to have things in common or be super similar. These are films that I think that if you like this movie, you'll like The Burbs. Or Night Shift from 1982. Michael Keaton's breakout role as a fast-talking idea man running a morgue-turned-brothel.
I have not seen it, but I've heard of it.
What about Bob from 1991? A high-strung psychiatrist is driven to the edge by his obsessive-compulsive patient.
You're angry. No, I don't get angry.
Well, you're upset.
I don't get upset.
Well, then let's have a little talk.
Bob, I do not see patients on vacation, ever.
What about See No Evil, Hear No Evil from 1989? A blind man and a deaf man witness a murder and must team up to clear their names. I love that movie. That movie would be better than this one.
Probably is.
Yeah. Well, let's see, what else do I got here? What about Plane, Trains, and Automobiles from 1987? Two polar opposites struggle to get home for Thanksgiving through a comedy of errors.
Is this one of John Candy's last movies? Wagons East was the last one, but this was pretty close, wasn't it? Because it's Steve Martin and John Candy.
Yeah, and that's a Thanksgiving classic. Places play it all the time at Thanksgiving. I don't know how many of that is, but I think that's enough. If you need one more, we got Adventures of Babysitter from 1987. A babysitter and 3 kids must survive a wild and dangerous night in Chicago.
You know who else needs to be babysitted sometimes?
Besides you?
Besides me.
Who?
Our podcast network, the PFPN. Let's hear from them.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
So now that we've heard from our podcast network, let's get to the news.
Yeah, so since we did cover a movie that was pretty close, I kind of went back a little further into March more. And on March 24th of 1989, Exxon tanker Valdez spills 10.8 million gallons of crude oil in the Prince William Sound near Alaska. It's considered one of the largest U.S. environmental disasters. It contaminated 1,300 miles of coastland, killing hundreds of thousands of seabirds, thousands of sea otters, and various marine animals. I kind of remember this as a kid because I'd never heard of an oil spill until this one.
And Dawn dish soap stock went through the roof.
Yeah.
There was commercials every damn day of them washing every fucking animal they could find with Dawn dish soap because it got the oil off of them.
And then on March 28th, the Louvre pyramid designed by I.M. Pei is inaugurated by the French president Francois Mitterrand in Paris as the new main entrance to the museum. The 71-foot tall glass and metal structure serves as a central hub for the revamped, modernized Grand Louvre, connecting underground facilities to the historic palace. So that's all I have for the news. So let's move on to movies. And on March 29th, we actually had the 61st Academy Awards. And some of the winners for this was the Best Actor, Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man, Best Actress, Jodie Foster for The Accused, Best Director, Barry Levinson for Rain Man, and Best Picture, Rain Man. So Rain Man was kind of pulling, in all the awards that time. Not quite a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest achievement, but pretty close. And then some of the movies, number 5 was Rain Man, that was released back in December, but it was still going on with the Academy Awards and everything going on. Number 4 was Cyborg, that had Van Damme in it. Number 3, Dead Calm. And number 2, With a Bullet, The Dream Team. But number 1 was Major League, so it was a little bit better movie.
Major League the Baseball movie?
Yeah.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
What's next?
So only one big horror movie that came out in March of 1989, and it was Leviathan, with the deep sea crew is hunted by a genetic monster.
So one of the films that we probably didn't talk about when we covered Say Anything, released March 31st, 1989. We actually covered this on the I Like Spooky Horror podcast. I, Madman. You know that film?
I think so.
The plot involves a Los Angeles bookstore worker who becomes engrossed in a horror novel titled I, Man, and finds a series of murders resembling those in the book occurring around her.
I guess I haven't seen this. I was thinking, when you say I, Madman, I thought Madman Mars.
No.
So no, I haven't.
1989. We covered that on a past episode of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast. Has that 1950s, 60s horror noir. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Feel to it. I enjoyed it. It looks good. It's kind of weird, but it's weird in a good way, unlike you.
Oh.
So what's next?
What do you have for TV?
TV, Cosby Show, Cheers, Different World, 60 Minutes. And in its first season, Roseanne is a breakout star, and it's redefining American family sitcoms. Of course, the Late Show wars are heating up. Johnny Carson is still the king, though.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Cable TV is continuing to rapidly expand. CNN and MTV are becoming household staples. And there's a new kid on the block, Fox Broadcasting, and it's building buzz with its edgy programming. And a lot of people are anticipating the fall debut of a new animated series, The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Started on the Tracy Ullman Show. It's crazy to think that's been around since 1989. Lord have mercy. It's been around forever.
I don't understand how it's still going, though.
The characters never age.
Yeah, just never, ever.
I haven't watched the show for a long time, but I still enjoy the Halloween episodes every year, and it must be doing okay in the ratings. It's still on. What's next?
What do you got for sports?
Oh, for sports, April 1989, the NCAA Basketball Championship had just concluded with the Michigan Wolverines winning the title. I believe this is the Fab Five team that had Chris Webber and Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, and of course they would come to find out that Michigan cheated and probably paid all their players like they do now, but it's legal.
Is this what Blue Chips, the movie, was based off of?
Probably something along those lines. The one with Nick Nolte and Shaq?
Yeah.
Probably something along that lines. Detroit had won the championship in the NBA, so there was talk of if they could repeat. The WWF was riding high after WrestleMania 2 on April 2nd, 1989, where Hulk Hogan defeated Randy Savage to reclaim his title. And the Mega Powers Explode was one of the big storylines which led up to this, which was Hogan and Macho Man fighting over Elizabeth. It was a really peak time in wrestling. Wrestling kind of has those peaks and valleys. This was before it kind of valleyed out for a while, and then the Attitude Era hit and it got popular again. We're kind of in a valley maybe a little bit right now. It's not peak right now.
I can't pay attention to wrestling anymore.
No?
There seems to be new wrestlers constantly rotating in and out.
Well, it's because a lot of the big names are part-timers. They've gone, to Hollywood and they're doing movies, so they only wrestle a couple times a year, if that.
But they push them too much. And then, we'll say Brock Lesnar, he is just OP. He's overpowered.
Yeah.
And rarely does anyone beat him.
Well, they shouldn't. He's a professional MMA fighter who was a championship. No one would beat him in real life. He's not going to be overpowered. That's how he should be. I mean, but he's never around. He's there once or twice a year. Well, that don't matter.
He's hit the age.
They're all old. I mean, they're all late 30s, early 40s when they get to WWF. You have to think these guys are perfecting their craft and wrestling on the indies for 10, 15 years before they get anywhere close to, WWF.
You got to keep the storylines new and fresh, though.
No.
Take the new and then just push them to the side and not use them properly.
Well, that's what they got right now because they have management that is kind of the old guard. Yeah, they need some new writers and story people, but Triple H is running the show right now and they're really jacking up prices. So they're kind of pricing families out of wrestling at this point. So I don't know what they're thinking, how they're going to get the next generation of fans that want to go to shows when people can't afford to go to shows. And they cut a lot of their smaller shows out where they're just doing big cities. So that cuts a lot of people out of it. It'd be interesting to see how wrestling evolves in the next couple of years and what happens. But we're kind of in that valley right now where it's not the most popular thing. I mean, you think there was times like this where wrestling was pop culture, ingrained in pop culture. And we're just not there right now.
Yeah, not the same.
What do you got?
Let's go to music. And number one in the U.S. was The Look by Roxette.
She's got the look. 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 What in the world can make a brown-eyed girl turn blue?
She's got the look. She's got the
Yeah.
look. That song.
But in the UK, Like a Prayer by Madonna was number one. Yeah, I know. We
just posted something about Like a Prayer hitting number one in the U.S. on the podcast Facebook page that you should definitely check out if you're not following that. Check out the podcast YouTube page on Facebook. You can find out this kind of weird stuff before we even talk about it on the podcast.
That's right. And in R&B, number one was Girl, I Got My Eyes on You by Today.
Not one eye, two eyes.
Two eyes, yep. Number one country was I'm No Stranger to the Rain by Keith Whitley.
I'm no stranger to the rain. I'm a friend of thunder. Friend, is it any wonder lightning strikes me?
I know it.
I probably would too if I heard. I know who Keith Whitley is, but I don't know that one.
Number one alternative is Mayor of Simpleton by XTC. And XTC really doesn't stand for anything. It just sounds like ecstasy.
Yeah, I don't know that song either.
Finally, the number one dance track was This Is Acid, A New Dance Craze by Maurice.
Is it about dropping acid and dancing?
Probably the same as the alternative, Mayor of Simpleton.
Yeah. It's two songs all in one.
What do you got for toys?
For toys, well, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are flying off the shelves thanks to their hit cartoon.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
G.I. Joe remained a strong seller. Transformers is evolving with new characters and designs. And Nintendo Mania is still booming thanks to the NES. And kids all over the globe are blowing into their cartridges and putting them in their machines to see if they'll work.
Woo.
Yeah, I still do that today. Did you have an NES back in the day?
I did not have an NES, but I had many friends with NESs.
I did too, and we liked Mario, we liked Kung Fu. My favorite game on NES was the Jaws game, though. Did you ever play the Jaws game? I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, I don't know why you like it, but...
Whatever. Of course, video games increasingly competed with traditional toys. Collecting is becoming a big part of it. And the shift towards toys tied directly to TV shows and cartoons was happening. So more and more all the time, with He-Man and those kind of shows. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on weirdly that's in toy stores now. Because you walk down an aisle of a Target or a Walmart, and half the aisle is He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Pretty much, yeah. All the action figures.
Yeah, it's all the action figures that were action figures in 1989. And there's all these crossovers with He-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Godzilla. I saw those are in Target now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
So I had a couple births, and they're both actually NFL players. So on March 22nd, J.J. Watts, who played for the Houston Texans, was born in Wisconsin. And on the 26th of March, Von Miller, the linebacker who won Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams, first team All-Pro several years. He was born in Dallas, Texas. Fan of either of those guys?
Von Miller, he's all right.
Yeah, Von Miller was a terror on the field.
Yeah, he's all right. He's getting ready to retire, or
is he not retired yet?
I thought he played for Buffalo last year, if I remember right. It's kind of like a part-time rotational player, mostly a pass rusher. I think he's still in the league. Maybe this will be his last year. They play as long as they can, especially if they can make some money.
Yeah. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, 6 Feet Under with Rod.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Maybe 6 feet is so far down.
And I've got only 2 deaths. Maria Cristina Gomez, she was a Salvadorian teacher, literacy and civil rights activist. She was murdered at the age of 46. So she was a member of the Emmanuel Baptist Church in El Salvador. She was also a national leader on both of the Baptist women and in the teachers unions. The thing with this one is that witnesses saw her being taken by heavily armed men dressed in civilian clothing, and they forced her into a van. And 2 hours later, she was found dead on the side of a main road. On examination, her body showed signs of torture and burns, most likely caused by chemicals such as acid. Now, there were 4 bullets in her, indicating that she had been shot also, but it's like, why would you torture this woman so much? And some of the reasons was that she was going after, like, basically, I guess, pedophiles and sex traffickers. And one of the suspects in this, who was never charged, was General Juan Rafael Bastillo. He was then the head of the Salvadorian Air Force and has been implicated in the murder, but was, like I said, never charged. And so the case remains open and probably will never be solved now. And then my last one is on April 7th, a Soviet sub sinks in the Norwegian Sea. It was a nuclear-powered submarine, and it sank after a massive, uncontrollable fire broke out, resulting in the deaths of 42 of the 69 crew members. Now, this titanium-hulled attack submarine sank to the depths of 1,680 meters, carrying 2 nuclear-tipped torpedoes, and to this day continues to leak radioactive cesium. And with this, the fire started because of a burst high-pressure air line in the engineering section, and it spread through the vessel, and before they could surface, it started to sink. So from the reports I've seen, though, is that it's mostly contained, the radiation, but it still leaks a little bit. Which I guess, I mean, isn't, nuclear radiation supposed to be 50 years? Isn't that what they usually say?
It's probably got Godzilla down there feeding on it. So it's all cleaned up by now. It's just weird that they didn't all die.
No.
It just started leaking.
So an air hose burst and caused a fire to start in there, and they couldn't contain it. So as they were trying to
surface to get out,
and I guess some of them must have got out, but then it started to sink down. So,
well, hot damn. That's why I don't want to get no submarine.
I don't think I could do it either.
No, not in the ocean, not in that small places. Not if I got to worry about an air hose busting and getting nuclear radiated. I mean, I guess it depends on how far down it is in the ocean, if it's going to affect anything other than the 3-eyed fish that are cousins with the 3-eyed fish from The Simpsons. So I'm good right here on land.
Yep. So this concludes our month of March Madness. And like we said, in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, we take mental illness seriously. We also had a little promo at the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for the suicide hotline. I've had family, I've had friends who have committed suicide, and I wish I would have known that they needed help. Actually, when I was editing that part and adding that in, it just, all the memories come back, and it's a serious thing with mental health. So if you need help, please seek out help. Look for somebody that you trust, like Brian said in the last episode.
Yeah, and you're definitely not alone when you are dealing with thoughts of suicide or mental health issues. There are Out of the Darkness walks that happen every year throughout the United States. I participated in several here where I live, and you go and you hear stories about suicide and how it impacts families and friends and coworkers, and you walk and you share memories with people and just surround yourself with people that have also dealt with issues with mental health and loss. You're not alone. Definitely reach out to the people that you trust and you care about.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, are worried about a friend or loved one, or in need of emotional support, help is available.
Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org.
It's free, confidential, and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even if it feels like it, you are not alone.
That marks the end of our broadcast day here at The Wrong Podcast Died. Our transmission is powered by a frequency of 800 watts. We will resume our usual programming in 2 weeks. Until then, we bid you good night.